Yeah, I'm go for it.
If you want to visit your channel for that. Alright. I think we're live. Give it a second. Yeah. We usually give it a second because there's I think like a 2 to 3 minute delay between when we actually press the button to the feed that we actually see.
God, it's so well. It's not.
Yeah, and then same thing with the comments here. All these comments are usually, the comments themselves come instantly, but it's based on the video feed that they see 2 to 3 minutes ago. So that's why when we try to answer, it's a little bit slower. So
it
should,
sense.
Yeah, should go on in a second. Hey, what's up, guys? If you guys can see me, this is not the live show. We haven't actually started yet. We're gonna start at 4:30 like normal, but we're gonna do some Q&A. I hope this is live, otherwise I'm talking to myself.
I know, right?
This is nothing. Just kind of funny. A second more. I'm so excited. Okay, cool. It looks like we are live, so we are good. Alright, guys, so I'm going to answer some questions that I've been getting on Facebook and the interwebs. If you guys haven't friended me on my Airsoft GI Space Dan Facebook account, that's my work Facebook, so add me on that, and usually on Tuesdays, or the last 2 Tuesdays, I'll ask you guys questions. I'll ask you guys if you have any questions, and then I'll answer them a few minutes before the show. But before we do that, I want to introduce the newest member of the marketing team. This is Bill.
What's up, guys?
Bill just joined us at the marketing team last week, and we're really happy to have him. So I thought I'd introduce him to you guys because there's a good chance you guys will start seeing a little bit more of him. But Bill, why don't you tell the viewers a little bit about yourself? How long you've been playing Airsoft? How long you've been with the company? Where you've been within the company and stuff like that? Just a quick intro.
Let's see. Well, I've been playing Airsoft for over 5 years now. I actually started with Airsoft GI probably I think a little over 6 months ago. Some of you might have actually talked to me if you ever called. I was in the customer service department, or actually I should say the sales department. Did that through Christmas and up until like, I want to say February. Then I jumped into purchasing. I was there for about 3 weeks, and then there was an opening in the marketing department.
I snagged him.
Yeah, he got me. It was one of those, I was like, well, I went to college actually right around here. If any of you guys are locals, Cal Poly Pomona, go Broncos. Went to school there, got my degree in marketing, and now I'm doing marketing. So worked out pretty well.
Yeah, and even before Bill worked here at Airsoft GI, the cool thing was back when I worked at the sales floor, Bill was a very regular customer, and he'd come in and we just like chat, and you with your ICS M16, we just talk about for days. So
that one finally died though after 5 years of hard abuse.
Yeah, 5 years is a long time for an airsoft gun. But once again, I've said it before. That's one thing that I love about this company is that like we're airsofters for airsofters, and we hire airsofters. And I've been playing for a long time. You've been playing and shopping with GI for a long time.
I used to come on my breaks from school to come just hang out at the store because there's nothing else to do.
There's an Xbox and there's a bunch of cool guns and everything. So why the heck not? So everybody give Bill a warm welcome. You guys will see more of him. But the live show is going to start in about 15 minutes. So first, let me go through some shout outs that I promised I would do. I'm going to do a shout out for Adam Scott. I like that name because it reminds me of Michael Scott from The Office, which I love that show. It's great. Brad from Victorville, California, I think. Jarrett Williams. Caleb he wants me to shout out his Instagram. So his Instagram is Caleb H_duck. So hopefully you have some cool airsoft pictures on there. I haven't checked it out yet. Noah's asking me to shout out his airsoft team, which is Steel Vikings Airsoft. So check them out. Shout out for Caleb Knox. And then Ben Grader's asked me to shout out Ace Milsim. Milsim's always fun, so keep on milsimming. And then also our friends over in France, I think we did this last week, Lewis is asking for a shout out for Fight to Win Airsoft in France. So this is also fun because I know there's airsofters worldwide, and then so we got guys from France asking for shout outs, and I think there's another guy I was talking to on Facebook today named Daniel, cool name, I think so. And he's in England, I think, and he was like, oh yeah, it's like midnight or like it's really late at night or something like that. I don't know the exact time. But I was like, that's cool, that people stay.
Yeah, I was actually getting messages on Facebook from someone in China.
That's cool.
Yeah, really pretty cool. People all over the world.
And last one is Austin Adams. Shout out approved. Okay, so I'm going to try to answer your guys' questions that you guys shot me on that Facebook comment. So this is from Daniel Liam. He's asking, which is better, the Condor EXO plate carrier or the Lancer Tactical JPC? It's kind of hard sometimes when it comes to tactical gear to say which one's better, because a lot of it's going to be based on opinion and your need and what you're looking for in terms of requirements to carry stuff. So the Condor EXO plate carrier is a little bit bigger, so personally I would go with the Lancer JPC because it's smaller and more minimal and just fits my body type. Bill, what would you take?
I'd take the Condor just because I have tried on the JPC, both the Lancer one and the real one, and honestly, for my body type, it looks slightly ridiculous.
You tried on the other one the other day. It was just way too tight.
Too much just bulging out of it for me, so I have to have a little bit larger of a plate carrier.
Yeah, so I think the EXO would definitely fit better for your body type, and that's something that we were talking about. Bill actually mentioned before too, and that's why when it comes to tactical gear, get what works for you. So I like the JPC, but the EXO I think would be his choice. Next question is from Brad. What are you guys' thoughts on the Tokyo Marui M4A1 recoil shock? What do you think, Bill?
I haven't personally shot the Tokyo Marui. I've seen other people shoot it, and it looks like it's got pretty good kick to it. Personally, if I go for a recoil kind of gun, while I like the electric ones just because batteries, are usually cheaper in the long run, and then magazines also, like the KWA, the RM4, like those magazines are a lot cheaper than the LM4 mags. After, borrowing one of our Airsoft GI employees, Josh, he let me shoot his real AR. And after shooting that, I don't know if I could go with an electric one. I think I'd have to go with a gas blowback just because everything's identical. Mm-hmm. I may be right-handed, but I actually shoot predominantly left-handed, so then the whole bolt release thing gets weird. And I know RM4 you can't really do anything, but LM4 you can put that Magpul bad lever on, and it actually will work for someone like me who shoots predominantly left-handed.
Nice. That's pretty cool.
So me, and something for recoil, I kind of like the gas blowback a little bit more. Mm-hmm. It's a lot closer to the real thing.
Yeah, I would definitely agree when it comes to, I think a gas blowback rifles, in terms of recoil and realism, is going to outdo an electric gun. But back to the specific question of the TM M4 recoil shock, I've never been disappointed or have not been impressed by a Tokyo Marui gun. Those guns are generally pretty awesome. In terms of recoil, there are harder kicking electric guns out there and there's harder kicking gas guns out there. But what the TM does really, really well is their range and accuracy despite their 300 FPS limit. So they are still exquisite guns.
How to pull that off, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's. I think there's wizards and gnomes that build guns. I think this is a fact.
Samurai magic.
Samurai magic. That could definitely be it for sure. No, I would definitely go with a Tokyo Marui M4 recoil shock if you're considering it. Cool gun for sure. And then this was actually from Lucian. He's actually one of the guys that was requesting. He wanted to see the new guy. So Lucian, here's Bill.
What's up, bro?
And then he had a question saying, will anyone from Airsoft GI come to Tennessee to play Airsoft? At this time, we don't have any plans to come out to Tennessee, but we are trying to get out across the country a little bit more, especially with the setup of our VA store, GI Tactical in Chesterfield, Virginia. We want to try to do more events because we understand a lot of you guys are scattered all over the U.S. So we're definitely trying to get out as much as we can. We have more events planned on the East Coast, more events planned in Northern California, and a couple other places I can't talk about quite yet, but we are trying to get around as well. And so you guys might see Bill out there too in the future as well.
Probably. Hopefully. Fingers crossed.
This question I think is kind of fun. Aiden is asking, will Airsoft GI do an East Coast appreciation game, perhaps in New York, like one of their competitors do? To that, I wanted to say we definitely appreciate our East Coast customers a lot, which is why instead of just doing one game a year or so, we created an entire store on the East Coast that I personally set up for a month and a half of my life by living over there and creating it, and not only creating a retail store, but also shipping from the East Coast. So now if you're on the East Coast, you can get most of your airsoft needs within 2 to 3 days. So in terms of customer appreciation, that's what we've done. And we also have and are doing a lot of games such as Operation Reclamations and other stuff coming up in the future. So we don't necessarily label it customer appreciation because I feel that our customers already know we appreciate them because we're not just doing a game, but we have set up a community, an outpost, a store, a retail location, and shipping. So that's what we've done for the East Coast customers. And you guys know we're working on a store, I'm sorry, in Texas as well. So yeah, we definitely appreciate you guys. We wish we could be everywhere at the same time. We're working on it. So that's my answer to that. And then the next question I had is, Bill, I'm curious to your thought. What is the best hop-up system, R hop, flat hop, etc., to use along with a Mad Bull 6.01 type bore barrel? What would you say?
With that barrel setup, after I tech on my guns a lot, but I always go in terms of working on my gun and stuff for advice. I go to our techs like Spencer, Aaron, those guys, and I find out what's best with what. With like a 601 barrel, I've always been told that R-hop is probably the best thing you can do. Now, me personally, I don't run an R-hop just because I like the ability to adjust my hop up depending on what BBs I'm going to use. So me personally, I run a Miracle Barrel with a Pro-Win hop-up chamber, the Modify, the gray bucking, the flat hop bucking, with the Maple Leaf RTX nub, and I've gotten really consistent results with that. I haven't tried anything with an R-hop yet, mainly because I don't think I have the patience to try and get that correct. For sure. So right now I'm just running the flat hop, and I've been having great results with it. I love it. I think pretty much most of my guns, that's what I'm going to do.
I think I'd agree with pretty much everything you said. I forgot about the Maple Leaf RTX nub, but that's definitely a good thing to go with the R-hop. I like the flat hop a lot. The R-hop works really well. I'm not a super big fan of 6.01 barrels. I like a 603 or 604, generally speaking. But yeah, I would definitely agree with all that.
It took me a while. I used to have the Mad Bull 601, and I remember when those Miracle Barrels came out, I was like, I don't know. And then I was like, I'm going to try it. Haven't looked back.
I got you. Okay, we actually had a lot more questions and running out of time, so I want to try to go through these a little bit quicker. The last question Aiden has was, what is the best upgrade replacement for a stock KWA 2GX hop-up and bucking? First of all, unfortunately, you cannot change the 2GX hop-up in KWAs. That is proprietary. The bucking you can change out, however, but the KWA 2GX bucking is actually really good. So if you're going to leave that with the stock barrel, I would probably leave that bucking alone. But if I had my choice of barrel and bucking, what I would do instead is go with a Miracle Barrel and a Mad Bull blue bucking or the G&G green bucking.
Those are good.
Yes, those are definitely really good. We are out of stock on Miracle Barrels right now, but we should be getting more in about a week or so. So be ready because those are going to fly very quickly.
Watch the site.
Matthew is asking, how does temperature affect GBB rifles, GBBRs, and pistol performance? So how does the temperature affect the gas?
Okay, here comes science. Bill Nye the Science Guy.
So you can do it in about 30 seconds or so.
Okay, basically what happens, gas, when it's cold, the molecules are a lot closer together. So with those molecules being closer together, you have less pressure, which results in either the gun not functioning very well or not functioning at all, not getting the same performance. That's why, if you ever notice, during the summer, we always have the promotions where it's like, get your gas guns, because at least here in California, it gets up to like, 110 sometimes. Probably it's going to be a hot summer this year. So gas guns are going to perform much, much better than if, let's say, I'll use Maine as an example. If you try to use a gas blowback gun up in Maine in the middle of December. Just has to do with molecules and pressure.
So long story short, the warmer gas is, the more it expands, meaning there's going to be more pressure, which also means more velocity. So while you may think initially that's good because you're going to get a higher FPS, you have to keep in mind if you're playing an extreme temperature, let's say like 100 and plus, you could potentially break some components on your gun, depending on what the gun is, depending on how warm it is, because it's being over pressured. Also, you want to keep safety in mind, And also, the reverse side, if you're playing in really cold temperatures, you're going to lose FPS and lose efficiency. So that is a big concern with gas blowback rifles and pistols.
Much better explanation, much easier to understand.
You did the scientific, because that was
Well,
great. I
Bill,
wanted to.
I'm Bill Nye, the science guy, remember?
Oh, nickname just happened.
Mhm.
That's great. Okay, Mason's asking, please talk about airsoft gun safety and how treating airsoft guns like real firearms and taking simple precautions can help improve the sport and keeping it out of the bad light. I think that was great because it wasn't even a question. It was just asking to talk about safety. Safety is
Very
always
good.
number one. Always number one.
Yes.
I'm a real gun owner and I own many airsoft guns. Bill, how many real guns do you own?
I think like 5.
Yeah. So, and
Something
airsoft
like
guns.
that. Airsoft, I've got about 5 as well. Got about 5 and 5.
Awesome. So, I mean, between airsoft and real guns, you always want to treat all airsoft guns like they're loaded. You always keep your finger off the trigger. You don't point it at anything unless you want to destroy it. Those are some of the basic firearm rules that you should always follow with real firearms, and then always follow with all airsoft guns as well too. So that's very, very important. Safety is definitely key. Pearson's asking, what are your opinions on the TM High Kappa 1911?
Me personally, I kind of like single stacks just because I found that the double stack magazine 1911 just doesn't feel right in my hand.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's just because I'm used to shooting a real 1911.
Mm-hmm.
I've never really, I don't even know, are there double stack real 1911s? They're just really expensive.
I don't know.
I'm not sure. Favorite is a Kimber though. It's my favorite 1911. So when you get to the double stack, like the TM high kappas or any high kappa in general, it just, for me, I don't like it just because it doesn't seem to fit my hand that well.
That makes sense. I'm a fan of the TM High Kappa 1911 because I own one and I love it. What I like about it is, number one, it's TM. Number two, the High Kappa series is extremely upgradable. There's a lot of upgrades and aftermarket parts for it, so I tricked mine out internally to make it very accurate. So that's what I like about that. Okay, lightning round. Adam Scott, what is your favorite field?
Favorite field? That has to probably go out to, since we've been playing a lot, it's got to be SC Viper, just because we got the 2-story buildings. I love that. It actually adds a different play style to the normal 1-story on the ground stuff.
For sure. My favorite field right now is probably Fort Ord in Northern California. Hopefully going to try to make it out there later this year. Adam Scott's asking what's your favorite game type. I'm a big fan of, like semi-auto only games because I feel like it's not just streams of BBs coming at you at 30 BBs a second. You know, if you got a clear shot at somebody, you know, you still have to take your time and make it count with semi. You feel you can be more tactical and more movement. So that's the game types I've been enjoying recently.
I gotta say, I'm the same, mainly because I run an M16. I run semi-auto anyway, but I like the added challenge of trying to actually hit someone with 1 or 2 shots and just be like, meh.
Yeah, for sure. Corbin's asking what is the best Lancer tactical plate carrier and what is the best camo, I'm guessing, for wood play. For wood play, Woodland, I think is classic and good, or I would say also multicam's been very popular.
Mm-hmm.
The best Lancer tactical plate carrier, we talked about like best plate carrier, it depends on what works for you. One of my favorite right now is the Lancer JPC. So I don't know if you have a favorite Lancer plate carrier.
I'm actually, out of all of them, I'm probably going to say the JPC just because I've seen it next to the real one and it is, I'd say, a very good, accurate representation.
They did a surprisingly good job. I was impressed.
I looked at it, I was like, wow, that actually looks really good. They did a good job on that one.
For sure. Joseph is asking, why has the PTS Mega Arms MKM been crawling below 300 for so many people? That's actually not something that I was aware of. We have Mega Arms here in the marketing department, and it shoots great. So I'm not too sure if that's been happening to a lot of people, but I might look into that because I'm a little curious. Another question from Lucian. Which do you guys like better, the Banshee or the Condor Cyclone carrier? Disregard quality of the plate carrier, just how they function, look, feel, etc. By far the Banshee. The Banshee is rock solid. It's a little bit heavier, but I like that plate carrier a lot. I've tried it on. I haven't played with it, but compared to the Cyclone's definitely pretty decent. But between the two, I would say the Banshee's a step up.
I'm actually I'm in the same boat. I like the Banshee as well. Just it's a it is rock solid. I feel like I could tie it to the back of a big rig, drive it for 1,000 miles, and still be fine.
That's pretty extreme, but maybe we'll try that one.
We should try that.
We should totally try that. Alex is asking 2 questions. He says, I hope 2 is okay. It is okay, Alex.
Just kidding.
What's, in your opinion, the highest quality plate carrier for under $100 that you'd use? I'll let you start because I got to think.
Okay, well, honestly, I'm going to go with my plate carrier I use. I use the Condor quick release one, the one where it's got the pull tab right here. That one I was right under $100, but I've had that one for about 4 years and I have not had any issues with it. I just love it because I carry so much stuff on me, but it holds everything great. Nothing flops around. It's my favorite plate carrier by far.
For sure. My plate carrier currently is the Condor MOPC, or modular operator plate carrier. So that one was like $66 and it has not failed me. It's I feel a little bit I guess outdated is a decent word because you have the JPCs and the Banshees, a lot more lower profile stuff, but my MOPC has done great for me in past games. So yeah, I definitely like that one. Second question he had is, if you made a loadout based on non-US military, what would you base off of and why? And he was saying he would personally do a Polish Grom, which is kind of cool. So what, besides a U.S. military loadout, would you do? You know what? I think like a Russian Spetsnaz.
That's pretty cool.
Probably saying that
Rep
wrong.
the AK, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Me, technically it's not military, but a lot of them are U.S. based. I love the contractor look. I don't know why. I think it's just kind of like that. I'm a civilian with a gun. I'm here to do a job. I just kind of like that look.
That's definitely really cool too, for sure. Adam Scott, what is the coolest looking camouflage? I said non-functioning. I don't know what that means. Most camouflage functions pretty well. My favorite camouflage right now, I got multicam, so I'm pretty happy with that. But there's a new camo coming out called 4CES that's supposed to be very, very effective. It looks digital, but from my understanding, it's set up in a very specific way that blends in with the environment a long range a lot better. So that's still something in the works that I'm looking forward to. What's your favorite camo?
I'm going to go old school, Vietnam Tiger Stripe.
Vietnam Tiger Stripe.
My favorite.
Vietnam Tiger. Bill Nye the Science Guy and Vietnam Tiger Stripe. Scientist over here. Okay, that's cool. That's definitely different. And I think that's going to be all the questions that we had here. So, guys, this was Bill. You guys will see a lot more of him in the future. But Bob is going to be joining us in just a moment, and we're going to be jumping to our regularly scheduled broadcast. So, Bill, thank you for joining us.
No problem.
We'll catch you next time.
See you out there.
I was going to say, we're starting a bit late.
Yes, 3 minutes. Our questions went into it just a little bit. People were screaming for you, Bob.
That's good. All I see is balls, Marpat, balls.
Yes, there were a lot of Bobs up there as well too.
Yes. All right. Well, welcome to the live show. It's going to be quite an auspicious day on April 29, 2014. We've got a lot to go over today. I'm sure you guys already got to quite a few questions, and I heard that Pearson Monakas was here. I heard you guys talking about that a little while ago. So first of all, topic for today's live show is going to be AEG versus GBB, or GBB versus AEG, whichever one you fit into, and we're going to talk about quite a bit more, including the fact that we have our Save 14 coupon code currently available. That's for 14% off. Now, you want to take advantage of that because that's money you would be otherwise just kind of giving up otherwise. But we also want to make sure you take advantage of our GI Trifecta, because with any purchase made through, what's that called, one of those GI accounts? Not a guest account, but any purchase where you have an account online at airsoftgi.com, you're going to save 2% in a rewards back program. Now, no other company in the industry does this, where if you spend money on airsoftgi.com, you wait a little bit, you're going to get that 2% back in points in your account, and that builds up over time. I mean, you told me on the sales floor, you've had folks that don't know about it, and that's like a free mag. That's like, extra BBs, gas, or even over time, even most of a gun.
Yeah,
so,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, pretty good deal. We also have our spring giveaway going on from now until, I believe, June 2nd. Now, what's great about that, I just saw a weird hashtag. What's great about our spring giveaway is that anytime you order something on airsoftgi.com or even gitactical.com, you're going to get a code which you can put into our website that will generate possibly either a gift, possibly something on our list of prizes. It could be nothing. It's all completely random. Or you could win the grand prize, which is pretty awesome. It's actually...
I have it right over here. Do you think we should give them a sneak peek?
Yeah, let's give them a sneak peek. This grand prize is worth over $1,600. It's a custom LM4.
Mom, it's going to be super quick. And then it's going to go away.
Boom.
And you guys got to wait now.
That's only part of it, too. You didn't even, show the rest of it.
I know. That's what we'll show them.
LM4 2 uppers, as well as a lot of other accessories, and 6 magazines. It's pretty awesome. So over $1,600 worth of gifts. It is dope. And I think you guys should take advantage of that. And one other cool thing, which we're going to tell you because we're nice guys, is that, I'm sure a lot of you are thinking about how to game the system. All right, well, I was going to buy 5 bags of BBs. I'll just buy them individually now and get 5 codes. You can totally do that. So I would highly suggest it. It'll increase your chances of winning. Yeah?
Yeah. No, we've given away a lot of great prizes, a lot of TAC gear BBs, but we've also given away the most recent big prize was a Lancer Tactical Full Metal FAL.
Yes.
And I think it was like one of the tacked out version, if I remember correctly. So somebody got, I think it wasn't like a super big purchase. I think it was like $70 or so, and now he has a new gun. And then I know a couple weeks ago, another guy bought like a Serpa holster and a bag of BBs, and he won a $500 sniper rifle from Ares. It was the M110, which is super awesome.
Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah, so you can win some crazy stuff, and possibly that custom that we just showed you. We'll give you guys a lot more details on that one. Aaron, our tech manager, worked his heart out on that one. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty impressed with that. Once that came in, and it's weird because when an L4 is great, we see 6 mags next to it. You're like, man, that's ready to go right now.
Well, I think that's great too, because one of the troubles with an LM4, or challenges, I should say, is buying all the additional magazines, because they're $45 a pop a piece. So what? 5 magazines total, that's like what, $250 almost. That's a lot of money. So definitely helpful.
Yeah, very helpful. And the fact of the matter is you are actually going to get 2 hard carrying cases of that, one for the gun and the 2 uppers, and the other carrying case for all the cool external accessories. Pretty dope. All right, so we also have Operation Reclamation 3 coming up. That is going to be held on May 18th. It's a Sunday at X Zone, Virginia. Now, X Zone, Virginia has added 70 acres to their field. That was right before Operation Reclamation 2, so it's much more playable, a lot more area, and a lot more room for hijinks, I would say. Operation Reclamation 3 is going to be awesome. Both Daniel and myself are going to be out there fighting for the United States forces. Now, this is the 3rd iteration. Oh, man, I'm just hiccuping and burping left and right. It's the 3rd iteration of the Reclamation series, and the first 2 have been won by the British Reclamation forces. So this 3rd one is going to be up in the air for the American side. It is do or die, and we are definitely going to do one of those. So
yeah, Ed's been talking more smack.
I gotta say, out of all the employees at Airsoft GI, he is probably one of the best at smack talk. In the middle of an interview with GI Tactical J, aka Commander Chaos, he just drops the British Union Jack right behind him. I'm like, oh, Ed. You just had that right there. That's very impressive.
And so with that game too, I know Ed and Jay, they are starting to do squads. So if you guys haven't signed up, sign up already. There will be no walk-on. So once this event sells out, which is going to sell out pretty soon, you can't play. And that would really, really suck if you want to go. So I would say sign up as soon as possible. I believe it's only $40 for a ticket.
I believe so, $40 for a ticket. And yeah, you want to make sure to sign up as soon as possible, because if you had a specific squad you wanted to get into ahead of time, obviously you're going to have the ticket, and you are going to want to join our Operation Reclamation Facebook group. I believe it's called Operation Reclamation Series. That's where we're posting a lot of the smack talk, as well as the squad assignments and squad leader requests. There are also slots for, I believe, the SAS team, which is the British Special Forces, which are going to be doing special missions, as well as the U.S. Marine Force Force Reconnaissance team. I like just saying Force Recon. It sounds badass. So yeah, you can sign up for that. They will be given special missions that are important to each side, especially the Force Recon team. So that should be awesome.
What was the other thing I was going to say? We are going to be doing a meet and greet the night before, on the Saturday on May 17th, after the store closes at Mi Hacienda, which is a really good Mexican restaurant right by the store. So I'll be there, Bob will be there, and a bunch of guys from Airsoft GI will be there. So if you guys are in town for the game on Sunday, come join us for some food and some Mexican food. It's going to be really, really good.
Yeah, it should be awesome.
Yes.
Can't wait to head out there. The East Coast is always pretty darn fun. Wow. That is a problem. Sorry, just reading some of the comments there.
That's
very creative.
That was, I don't know if that was creative or just truthful. I'm hoping it was creative, because that one.
Can you scroll down a little bit? Yeah. Danny Lozada, shout out approved. Okay. Really quick, if you wouldn't mind indulging me Will you indulge me?
I will.
Okay. All right. So I was out of town for Easter. I was actually at the East Coast sale with a couple compatriots over there on Easter Sunday. I was out in D.C. So since I couldn't be with my family, my mom made an Airsoft GI Easter egg for me. I don't know. You guys probably can see that. And she requested that I open it on the live show. Now, if you don't know this before, my mom has actually been on an Airsoft GI commercial, so she's a big fan of this company. I'm going to just take that part out. Let's see. Bob, I have always loved you first, Mom. Excellent. So, Marie, if you're reading this right now, tough for you, sister. All right, okay. So, deal with it. Thank you, Mommy. That was really cute. All right, so now that that is done, I'm going to just throw that in my sister's face. I actually want to talk about a very similar topic. Of course, I know you're thinking. Burst Wizards. So, Burst Wizards we have all over airsoftgi.com, and that's because we're offering them with each, well, not each of our guns, but with the vast majority of AEGs purchasable on our website. Now, what's cool about that is normally Burst Wizards cost $40, and that adds burst functionality to your gun. You can add 2-shot, 3-shot, 4-shot, 5-shot, all the way up to 9-shot burst, and you can also add a bunch of different other functionalities to your gun. But it also protects your gearbox from overcharging, as well as a bunch of other things. So it will increase the longevity of your gearbox over time and over use. So it's definitely a good thing to buy when you're purchasing a new airsoft gun to get with it. But instead of $40, which is the normal price, if you buy it with your gun at the time of purchase, you're going to get $20 off. So $20 for Burst Wizard is a really darn good deal. And if you're thinking about it anyway, might get that discount, or you might want to think about getting that discounted Burst Wizard with that gun purchase. It's definitely going to be a lot more fun over your playing purchase time. All right. Now, another thing to mention is that we have world-class techs here at Airsoft GI, which you might assume from seeing some of the custom guns that come out. We have a variety of tech services available, both to get your gun tuned up for CQB, get it tuned up for outdoor field play. We have, what's that called? Not a longevity service, but a durability service to increase the durability of your gearbox. There's a lot of different things that we can do, and our tech department can also perform additions to your gun. And let's say if there's a part that's not available in the United States or through American retailers, if you have it yourself or if you purchase it overseas, you send it in with the gun, you tell them what you want, they can get that done. So we're a very easy shop to work with, and honestly, like I can't remember the exact number of experience our entire tech department has, but I believe it's over 30 to 40 years. So it's pretty impressive. We've even got a fellow with a physics degree in there that does a lot of our Russian builds for airsoft guns, which is pretty amazing. So if you guys have not checked it out yet, hit up that tech service tab, see if there's anything that fits what you want, or you can always call our customer service department in and ask them themselves, because they have a direct line to the tech department. They work darn near right next door, and they have no problem going over and asking techs questions, especially if it's something you're not sure they can do.
Absolutely. Just going back to the techs, yeah, they are absolutely amazing at what they do. People ask me, what internals are in a lot of my custom guns, what makes them shoot far faster, whatever. Mark has helped me build a lot of them, but the techs here at GI have also helped me build a lot of them too. So a lot of that credit goes directly to them. Like some of my guns shoot like 30 beats a second. It's not me. I get no credit for that. I'm just the guy that knows a guy and that was able to set that up. It's all the techs here at Airsoft GI, and they have that capability of building epic guns like that too. So if you guys just want to wreck on the field and you want that advantage, the faster FPS or the faster rate of fire, the more range and the more accuracy, that is what the techs can offer. So if you want something custom or unique, definitely.
R-hops and all that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a pain in the butt to do, but they will do it.
Yeah, Spencer's really good at R-hops.
He is.
Yeah, I remember he did an R-hop on Oliver, one of the regulars at the store, and he did it to like an M16 length FMG4 that Oliver decked out, and that thing shot so far. Like, and it was 400 FPS, but it shot, no joke, at least 150. It probably went out like 200 feet, but at that point it was losing a lot of velocity. But that thing was just crazy far and accurate.
Yeah, no, definitely the Miracle Barrels are pretty awesome. I have them on a couple of my guns because I believe in them. Really quick, HVT Airsoft Team. Hey, Bob, can you give us a shout-out? HVT Airsoft Team, shout-out, approved.
There's actually been a couple questions maybe from one of oh, my bad.
Sorry. I want to answer questions too, so you give me yours first and I'll go back.
Somebody's asking, Shake a Squid's asking, what is in your AEG? What is in my my M4 right now? It is 13-1 gears. It's not a dual sector gear setup with a Tinley 40K motor. That's the I would say the main thing that makes it shoot so fast, along with Magic Box ball bearings. Those bearings work so well that they actually increase your rate of fire just by installing that because it allows the gears to spin quicker. That along with a lot of fine tuning from the tech department and a really good shim job. So that's what's in my M4 right now. Aiden Hooper, shout out. There you go.
Hmm.
Any questions?
Go back up a little bit. Pearson Manicas, said Bob, what armies do you play in 40K?
Yes. Ooh.
I know. Imperial Guard, mostly. Space Marines, Tau, well played, as well as Alatok Eldar. That's it.
I used to play Tau, but I don't anymore. Yeah.
That's shameful.
I know. I should have stuck with it more.
Yeah, they're shooty. Real shooty.
Gavin's asking, hey Bob and Daniel, are you aware that there's a new GBB shotgun that ejects shells made by Maruzen? No. That sounds awesome.
I was slightly aware. I have seen some photos and video of it. The interesting thing about gas blowback shotguns is that they're really awesome, but the downside is that, it is really cool that you can have a shotgun that ejects shells, but that limits it quite a bit in that you can really only, in my opinion, feasibly play in indoor fields because you're going to have to go back and collect all those shotgun shells, and that is a pain in the butt. Using that in an outdoor field, I hope you have a really big budget to buy extra shells because you're going to lose them, even if they're bright blue, you're going to lose them. I personally prefer the setup like the Tokyo Marui 870 where, you put the shells in the undercarriage and then they don't eject out, but when you're done shooting them, you pull them out and put in a new shell, just because it's a lot less of a hassle. I like playing a lot and having to go back on the field after every game and finding the shells. It sounds awful to me.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I think the shell aspect would be really, really cool if there was like any way you can have, let's say, like a shotgun, a shell ejecting shotgun, but you could have a ton of shells for super cheap where you don't care about losing them. I think that would be fun because then you're just like, and all the shells flying out. But if they're cheap enough that you don't have to worry about them and it's not an issue, that'd be really, really cool. Speaking of shell ejecting, Mad Bull Airsoft, check out their Facebook page. They just put up a video about 16 hours ago of an M82 that's gas and shell ejecting. It was awesome. It actually it didn't kick back that much, but the shell came out too.
Well, it looked like it kicked back a fair amount because, you're going to need a lot of gas to at least push back the bolt on that. So it looked pretty interesting. I haven't seen... It'll probably look awesome in the Airsoft battlefield, but I haven't seen anything that effective out of an M82 on the field. So
for sure. Let's answer one more question from Mitch. And he's asking Mitch the Cake. What are your thoughts on the King Arms Full Metal M4A1?
No. Well, as a lot of you probably know, is that King Arms is known for their quality both externally and internally. So, you are going to get the same quality you expect out of the King Arms M4A1. We've been trying a lot lately to be able to get some field testing done with the airsoft guns we sell here, and I personally haven't been out to the field and use it in a game. I don't know if you have either. What's interesting about King Arms guns now, though, is that they are actually also breaking into the lower price points. So we do have a King Arms polymer gun. It's a nylon polymer gun. And that's at the 150 price point. So if some King Arms guns are too expensive for you, but you want a similar level of quality, you should check out the King Arms nylon version because it's actually really solid for $149, both the build and the internals. But as far as the King Arms Metal M4A1, again, going back to your question, again, has the same quality you'd expect out of a King Arms build. Obviously, it's a metal body, so you are going to have to pay for that. So, if you like the level of quality they present, I would highly suggest that gun. I wish I could go into more detail as far as its functions in the Airsoft battlefield. I haven't had a chance to use it out there yet. Daniel?
Yeah, King Arms guns are nice. I haven't used them on the battlefield either, but I do have a lot of experience working with them in the store with customers when I was working back over there, and they were overall really, really solid. And a lot of my opinions and feedback comes from shooting the guns on the range with customers and then asking specifically for their feedback after I sell them, the King Arms gun, and they come back, a few weeks later and pick up BBs or batteries or attack vest or whatever. Like, oh, hey, how was the King Arms that you picked up for me? They're like, oh, yeah, it's great. I went to SC Village and, I had a lot of fun. It worked great, no problems and stuff like that. when I sell a gun to somebody and they're like, oh, it worked great, but I have this problem, and if I hear that same thing happen a few times, then I know something might have an issue. So I'm not talking about anything specific. I'm just talking in general. But the King Arms, I haven't really heard people say anything bad, mostly good stuff about. So I would definitely recommend them as a company. But I know we got a lot of new products. If we want to start digging into some of those.
Yeah, actually, why don't you go over this first, because I think this is really cool.
This is a new magnet dump pouch. I'm actually not familiar with this.
Really?
No, I'm not. This is from High Speed Gear. It's a dump pouch. Maybe you can shed a little bit more light on this one. I haven't had time to look into it.
Yes, this is the magnet dump pouch. Essentially, it's a play on words. It's not actually a magnetized dump pouch. It's a mag dump pouch that's made out of a net, so it's magnet dump pouch. Anyway, it's very comfortable. In fact, it's really comfortable to put your hand inside and out of. A lot of jokes there are possible, but I'm not going to go into them. But overall, this is actually not only a very comfortable dump pouch to use, but it's also very, very strong, as you can expect out of anything from High Speed Gear. It's also very, foldable or concealable, as you would imagine. It's getting stuck on some patches there. So it's a pretty awesome setup. It takes up a little bit more space than some of the dump pouches by Pantech, like the concealable ones. But overall, this is a really good product, and you're not going to be disappointed in this at all, especially about its durability. But again, something that's really interesting about it for me personally is that I've never actually had a dump pouch that I felt was like really comfortable to use. This is.
Nice. I like that you have this, I don't know what this material is, but it's like flexible, but it's a little bit hardened, so it's going to hold it open.
Slightly rigid, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. That's a very interesting design. I like how Tactical Gear always progresses, and a lot of people come up with new ideas. So very interesting for sure. Do you know how much this retails for?
Oh, yeah. No.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it is interesting, the transition of Tactical Gear, because I remember the first, for quite a while, everything was being made at 1,000 denier Cordura. And then there was a change in the special operations community where they wanted stuff that was lighter. So, yeah, now everything's made lighter.
So now we got a ton of patches for you guys. I'm going to just kind of dig through a lot of this stuff. Bob's going to grab some other new patches. So we got a ton of new patches from a couple different companies. I'm going to show you guys some of them. Bob, do you know what this stands for? I was trying to look it up before, but I actually did not know.
Oh, man.
I'll have to look that up later.
I feel stupid because I should know what that means, but I don't.
It'll probably come back to you. Let's see. Don't tread on me.
Oh, wow. I feel stupid.
Got it. This is what reminded me. The next patch has that on it. I was like, I knew this.
The majority of those patches are made by Mil-Spec Monkey.
Gotcha.
Not all, but the majority.
Don't mess with. There you go.
This is in Texas? Okay, cool.
And then, oh, Canada. Very cool, very cool.
Badass patch.
What else we got? Strategy.
This is actually strategery.
Strategery? I was like, that wasn't spelled right.
No.
I'm sure that was intentional. More Don't Tread on Me patches and a couple other cool ones. Spartan helmets.
Let's see what else we got.
Patches are just fun.
Yeah, patches are always fun, especially the really unique ones that very few people have. That's always really awesome.
I believe this is from Ill Gear, so this is a new company that we're starting to carry some of their patches.
It's pretty cool as well. All right.
And I know there's this patch that I kind of want to get. If anybody out there is a fan of Attack on Titan, when I've been going to SC, and there's I forget the name of the team, but there's guys out there, and they like all have this huge Attack on Titan patch that is really, really cool. So these are some of the new patches that we're getting in, just to give you guys a sneak peek.
This one. Awesome.
So not all of them are up on the website yet, but they should be up shortly, just to give you guys a sneak peek. But what else do we got this man?
All right, so we actually have some more new products from High Speed Gear Inc. These are the X2R. Well, this is the X2R Taco Mag Pouch. As you can imagine, it basically is a Taco Mag Pouch. It holds two. It's basically two Taco Mag pouches together with an internal divider. You can see right there. It's pretty cool because if you already like the single Taco Mag pouches already, you're probably going to like these a little bit more. And not to outdo themselves, this is the X2RP Taco Mag pouch. The P on there is for the pistol mag pouch. So you're going to be able to hold two regular style Stanag mags as well as a pistol magazine. Now, you can also not just say you can only hold Stanag mags. I've been able to hold a variety of magazines in these because these are taco pouches. They stretch to fit. It's pretty awesome, so I can hold quite a bit of different magazines in these mag pouches. I personally have a Costa leg rig setup of that, as well as 2 other taco pouches. So I highly suggest them. A lot of folks that I know in the airsoft industry, including Milsim Junkie, as well as Spartan 1117 GW, rock these pouches. Not these specific ones, but taco pouches in general. They're great to use. Love the heck out of them. I don't know. I really can't say enough nice things about them. So
Yeah, I used them during one of our shoots a little while ago, and they worked really, really well. Like the ease of getting the magazine in and out for reloads, or even setting up before you go out to battle, was just really, really nice. Did you see the picture of Tyler P at the store, one of our other employees, of eating Jack in the Box taco out of his taco pouch?
I did see that.
That was quite amazing. Like it had to happen. So when I saw it, I was like, it's about time. It was a really funny picture.
I was talking with someone recently who happens to be Mexican American or Hispanic, as we call them, and I was agreeing with that person that Jack in the Box tacos are the least Mexican version of tacos that you can get anywhere in the United States. I mean, it's a taco with a slice of American cheese in there, and yeah. But it's weird because they're so delicious.
They're like 99 cents for 2.
Yeah, that's such a great deal.
How could you not do that?
Dollar menu at Jack in the Box is unreal.
Yeah, that's for sure. But what else do we
got? We have a shout out for Team Big Bang Airsoft. Shout out approved.
Nice, very cool. Hopefully you guys named that after the show, because that show is really cool.
Indeed. Okay, so we've got a Bravo scope. This is a 1.25 to 4.5 by 26 millimeter. So let's get that out of there.
It does come with the I'm trying to make ring mounts. Yes, the ring mounts.
Yeah, that's kind of important.
Yes.
Okay, so let's get this out of the packaging.
So this scope is really cool because we just got it up on our website. There are a lot of other scopes out there that we carry that are very similar, that have the ability to do the variable zoom from like 1 to 4. But the thing is, a lot of them are expensive. For example, the Vism is about, I think, $190, $200. This is a really good scope by Bravo, and this one's only $80. And so that is definitely on the higher side when it comes to optics for an average airsofter. But it's actually a really nice in-between that you don't have to drop as much money. But otherwise, it's a pretty nice scope. Comes with the lens protectors that you guys see there as well. What do you think, Bob?
I'm trying to see if I can see my eyeball.
Wait, almost.
No, I don't think so. I'm going to give up on that. All right. I will say that the 1.25 to 4.5 is probably the range I would want to use anyway. There are a lot of sniper scopes. That do 3 to 6 magnification. I would only really be using 3 to 4. Anything above that is probably a bit too much for an airsoft gun. So having 1.25 to 4.5 is just right in the range of everything I would use. So really good scope for an airsoft gun, especially if you are thinking about getting into sniping. And I believe the real version of this costs quite a bit more, or at least like from other companies. So yeah, definitely a good buy for airsoft sniping, or even just a main rifle in general. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
So what else do we have? I'll run around while you package that up.
Go for it.
I know we got some more tech gear and vests.
We can also take questions here in between if you want.
Yeah, for sure. But I also do want to talk about the gas blowback versus AEGs. So we'll probably get to the guns after this. But I think you're right. Let's get a few questions. Danny is asking the thoughts on the M27 IAR. I fired that on the range, and I fired a few friends, but I've never used one personally in battle. I hear only good things about that gun, specifically that it has crazy good range and accuracy. So I just got a lot of good feedback. So from what I hear, it sounds like it's a really, really good gun for sure.
From everyone I've spoken to, I haven't heard any complaints about it whatsoever. From my own personal experience of handling it, I would say, oh wow, I'm not putting that back in there properly. I would say that it is a bit hefty for guns that I use, just because I've tried to lower the weight down on some of the main rifles I use. However, it is incredibly solid. It looks pretty good once you get past the different color schemes, but it also functions impeccably on the airsoft battlefield, and that's most important for a lot of folks. But it is also a rifle that is used by the United States Marine Corps. That is a factor for quite a few of the folks who purchased it, including Chris Bast over at Warfighter Airsoft, who did use that on deployment in Afghanistan. So he was definitely wanted to get that gun pretty badly once it came on the airsoft market. So yeah, overall, really good gun. Really can't say enough good things about it, other than the fact that it is a bit heavy. So if you aren't used to heavy guns, you are going to want to do a little bit extra working out to use that gun.
Thomas is asking the KWA MP7 or the GHK G5. I'm a big fan of the MP7, so I'd probably go with that. But the GHK G5 is very lightweight and has a pretty snappy blowback to it that's fun to shoot as well. So I'd probably go with an MP7 because I always drool over them when I see them.
I would like to take out an HK or GHK G5 on the Airsoft battlefield. But if I had to choose only one that I could use for the rest of my Airsoft days, it'd probably have to be MP7 just because I have a lot more faith in it. Because I have taken it out and played on the Airsoft battlefield for it. So my opinion will probably change if I ever get the chance to take the GHK G5 out and play with it. But sadly, the only thing I've been able to do is fire it, in and around the studio here. So I would agree with Daniel that the blowback on the G5 is pretty awesome. And mainly that's the fact is because it is a polymer gun, but it's actually DuPont polymer. So not only is it lightweight, but it's also incredibly durable because of the exact formula of DuPont polymer. So that's a really great deal, and I'm glad that someone decided to use DuPont polymer on their Airsoft gun. So yeah, it's definitely got a lot of promise. I really want to take it out. Daniel?
We'll have to make that happen sometime. But what do we got here?
I believe this is a Pantech bag. You didn't grab the bag with it, so I'm going to read this out. This is the Pantech USA 1000 denier Cordura Moly LWMS backpack. Now that means lightweight modular system. So it's a multi-purpose backpack. Obviously you can see it comes in coyote brown. This is set up for a variety of different things. Now these pouches you can see right here are all sewn into it, but they gives you quite a bit of storage space on the back and individualized compartments as well. So that is really great, especially for the fact that you're going to be able to carry magazines, bottles, BBs, a bunch of other things, and you are going to have Velcro real estate. And really cool is that there is a pistol, flashlight, or other used pouch on here. So that is really nice, especially if you need something on the go pretty fast. And in addition to that, there are different pouches back here for a variety of things. Like let's say, I'm trying to remember the exact name of these, but I've been seeing banger sticks on a lot of people's kit, which are essentially explosives I believe, blow out doors with. But the thing is, like, obviously you're not going to use that for Airsoft, but it looks cool on an Airsofter's piece of kit. Now, I'm not off the top of my head. I mean, you probably could put a shotgun in here as well, but I'm trying to think of what else you could put in these pouches. Also, it does look like this can be mollied into gear, which is really nice. That's actually a really nice setup that they've included here. That's pretty smart of them. So yeah, that's a really great setup on a backpack, and it's also pretty low profile. So if you are looking for something, I highly suggest checking out the Pantech lightweight multi-system backpack.
Cool. What I have here, this is I just realized now that's been backwards the entire time.
That's embarrassing.
That is very embarrassing.
Yeah.
I feel like I can't go through one live show without embarrassing myself.
Quietly judging.
I know it. Anyway, this is the Condor Gunfighter plate carrier. I believe it's not up on our website yet, but it should be coming very soon.
That is actually the Lancer Tactical Speed Attack plate carrier.
Oh my gosh, I completely mixed it up.
Really gotta look on the bag.
Man, I'm so embarrassed again.
Just go.
Lancer Tactical, well, we do have a Gunfighter one from Condor that is coming out, which is why I got it mixed up. So this is the Lancer Tactical Speed Attack plate carrier. So this is definitely going along the lines of the more slim, lower profile plate carriers out there. So it's going to be, you kind of got your standard Velcro up here. Should have given you guys a Velcro warning. That's probably pretty loud. And then you got the cummerbund that is going to wrap around, and you have your 3 layers of molly with more up on top. What I like about this is you have a lot of Velcro up top for a lot of your pouches, along with the Velcro on the back, along with the pull handle if you need it as well. So overall, pretty solid plate carrier. Definitely more of that minimalist design. So you can use something like this very well for, I'd say, a quicker game that maybe only lasts 20 to 30 minutes with a few basic mags and hydration if it's going to be hot out there. But you still have enough room for example. Let's say you get one of those taco pouches we just showed you that can fit like 2 M4 mags. You can totally load this thing up easily with like 10 plus M4 magazines and be good all day long too. So definitely very modular since you have the molly everywhere. Shoulder straps look pretty comfortable, adjustable as you would expect, and you can fit your fake or real Sappy plates in there as well. So pretty cool, nice addition to Lancer Tactical's lineup.
Can't remember if you said there's a lot of Velcro real estate on that thing.
Yes, Velcro there, Velcro here. So plenty of room for your pouches. That's the Velcro just to keep your cummerbund in. I think that should be good.
Alrighty. Let's answer a few questions real quick. Black Bear Squad, a bit earlier, you were asking if our tech department can install Miracle Barrels. Absolutely we can. What you're going to want to do, though, is make sure that before you send your gun in, that we have the Miracle Barrel that you want or that you need for your airsoft gun in stock. Just give our, you also have to call customer service or our tech department ahead of time just to let us know you're sending in the gun. So might as well call customer service, talk to them, say, hey, I want to send in my gun to get a Miracle Barrel installed. What's the process for doing that? And they'll walk you through it and make sure that everything is handled very swimmingly. So without further ado, we're actually going to show you the grand prize for our spring giveaway right now. Da-da! Yeah. Now this is an LM4 PTR. This has a Geisley rail system on it. Ooh, Daniel, take over.
Okay, so for the spring giveaway that we have going on, the grand prize is going to be this custom gun that our technicians just finished building. Like Bob said, it is an LM4, and so this is actually just part of what it comes with. I'm going to grab all of the other accessories as well. The total retail price for everything you're about to see is $1,600, and you can essentially win that potentially for something as cheap as a bag of BBs. Once again, with the spring giveaway, you make an order with us, you get a passcode, and you have a chance to win this gun and a lot of other cool stuff.
Now, as you guys probably already noticed, these are the new Magpul, I believe, Magpul Pro sights, or, oh, that says M-Bus Pro. Well, essentially the same thing, which is pretty great because these are not the cheapest sights ever, but they do look pretty darn cool and are very low profile. Now, let's take a look at the list. Okay, so first of all, for this LM4 dual upper kit, you're going to get 2 rails. First of all, you get the Geisley Mark II 9.5-inch rail, which is this. You also are going to get the Geisley Mark IV 13-inch rail, which is this one. Awesome. Geisley makes just amazing rails. Now, obviously, like we mentioned before, the kit is going to include both uppers. You're also going to get 6 LM4 magazines, which is pretty awesome. You're also going to get a Vism short dot with mil dot reticle.
And this was one of those other scopes. Didn't mean to interrupt there.
No, you're right.
With the Bravo one we showed you before, this one is close to $200, and this one is outstanding. Definitely worth every penny. But the Bravo one's nice because it's a little bit more affordable. But this one is epic and comes with this amazing gun. Now,
$200 might sound like a lot for a scope, but that's actually modeled. The previous scope was modeled after an $800 scope. So to drop the price down to $200 is pretty amazing, especially because a lot of people are going after that scope. Now you're also going to get a Lancer T1 replica with this gun, basically a micro red dot, which is probably pretty awesome because it's going to come on a riser. You also get, I'm trying to think, oh, that's a Bravo flashlight. You gonna show? Oh, yeah. Bravo flashlight, so you are going to be able to mount this on your gun. It does come with a 45-degree canted mount, which is pretty awesome. Probably can't see it the way I'm holding it. Pretty awesome. Now you're also going to get, in addition with these rails, you're going to get extra rail segments you can place on your rail kit anyway, so you can add functionality there. And you also are going to have a BCM gunfighter grip. This is really great. It's going to be a bit more vertical, especially if you keep the stock closer in, which is how the stock is designed. Now that's going to allow you to get a more comfortable vertical grip on that closer in shouldering of this gun. So that's a really great addition. It's also, like I mentioned before, very comfortable, and it is texturized, so it's going to be harder to drop. And we also have a Griffin M4 SC2 flash hider. That's, I believe, this guy right here. Pretty awesome. Okay.
Mentioned this before. Rails.
Yes, extra rail kits or extra rail segments you can set up on these rail kits. You also have internal modifications. We have an ESD improved hop-up bucking, tensioner, and housing. We also have a cup seal bolt mod, which is, from my experience using an L4, that's actually a very good thing to do. That's the cup seal is going to make it so that when you fire this gun, you're going to have all the pressure right behind the BB. So when it fires, you're not going to hear swam, swam. It's going to fire all at the same time. They actually have this mod, I believe, on their AKs, the KWA gas AKs that have come out just for more reliability. So it's great that our tech department has already included that in this build for the price. I would consider this, needs to come on here, and they put it on here, which is really great. Definitely exceeds my expectations.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I know that ESD improved hop-up bucking. That was something that Aaron's done in his own personal gun, and that thing shoots so far.
Yeah.
It's so accurate. I think it's silly. It's silly.
Silly. We also have a Magpul fixed carbine stock. I didn't mention that earlier. We also have a SOCOM KX3. That's basically this Noveski, I call it Loudner, but it's pretty awesome. It's also got the flaming pig, as you would expect, right there. You probably, yeah, there we go. Yeah. So really cool gun. I'm going to be so jealous of whoever wins this thing out of our spring giveaway.
Right?
So if you guys are at all interested in this gun and you have stuff you want to purchase on airsoftgeo.com, make those purchases as soon as possible because you don't want to be left out in the cold when some guy wins this gun.
For sure. Yeah. Which I think will bring us to our discussion of gas blowbacks versus AEGs as I introduce this gun. So this is a sample that we just got in from Lonex. This is a Lonex AEG, but the thing about it is EBB, or an electric blowback. And the thing about it is it kicks really hard. It kicks harder than the TM recoils. It kicks harder than the KW ERGs. It kicks harder than the Bolt, in my personal opinion. And I fired all four of those guns. Probably one of the hardest kicking electric guns that I've ever tried. And this is just a sample that we just got in, so I don't know what the final production is going to be like. But I was so impressed by this. And you know, one thing we were talking about before about electrics versus gas is the difference between the recoil. And the fact that electric guns are starting to get better recoils like this, I think is kind of crazy.
It is pretty interesting because that is a major advantage for using gas guns, is that they do have a lot more recoil and it's a heck of a lot more fun to shoot those because of that. But I will give it up to Lonex, however you say it, same company. I have to give it up to them because it feels as if it has more recoil than the PTS RM4, or the ERG as you may refer to it by KWA. So it feels that it does have more recoil. It is a little heavier. So you guys ought to know that, but most of the weight will be concentrated on the main receiver, which is good because you don't want a gun that's too front heavy. But again, you do get more blowback, or it feels like it to me. We haven't done a test or any scientific test where we can tell you that outright. But let me just kind of shoot it right now just so you can see. So headphone warning, this is going to be kind of loud. Let me see if you can see it on full auto. So quite a bit of recoil. Don't know if you guys can see that. I can certainly feel it, which is awesome. Daniel, I don't know if you want to try it.
Can we do it? I don't know if it shake the table too much.
No, we can try it. All right, headphone.
Here, I'm going to point the camera down so you can see the things bounce a little bit. Go ahead.
Headphone warning.
Yeah, that's a really good example. You saw that flashlight and that orange cap jumping up and down like crazy. So let us know if you guys are interested in seeing a gun like this on airsoftgi.com. We don't have a whole lot of details to share with you guys right now. Once again, this is only a sample, and it's still a work in progress. But I think it's really cool. And one of the big things with the gas blowback guns against AEGs is that realism, that you can get so much more realism with an LM4 like this, but you definitely lose some with an AEG. But with an AEG, you also have that competitive aspect because you have high cap magazines and stuff like that. So a lot of it's naturally going to come down to personal choice of what do you want more? Do you want the realism or do you want that competitive aspect? So I know, Bob, I mean, you've been using gas blowback rifles and pistols and your KMP9 for a long time. So would you say that you prefer GBBs over an AEG?
Yeah, at this point I would say I prefer AEGs I prefer GBBs over AEGs for not only the fun factor but also the manipulation. I find that obviously gas blowbacks are manipulated much more similarly to real firearms than AEGs are. Even, the closest you can get is the PTS RM4, also known as the electric recoil gun, because if you use those PTS-specific magazines, you have to hit the bolt release for it to function. But besides that, I mean, very few other AEGs, besides maybe PTWs by Sistema, have that. So for when you're using an LM4 or even like a gas submachine gun, you are going to have to reload, put a new mag in, hit the release, and go forward. So it feels really great. It feels like I'm running a real gun without hurting anyone. So it's great. I love using gas blowbacks. And the one thing that I've noticed, I was watching some of our old videos. I was telling Ross this, but after I started using my LM4, I noticed that my initial shots on just about anyone were getting much more ridiculously accurate. When we played the Kill Confirm game, there was one point, and I can show you this in the video if we ever feel like it, but it's just me tooting my own ego. There's one point where Jet is aiming at a building, at a window, and I pop out so fast and fire one shot and hit him in the face that he literally physically didn't have the time to even pull the trigger on his AEG. But he was aiming right where my head popped out, and there was no time.
And you were just like, pop!
No, like, pop. And I didn't know he was there, but I just saw a head. I was like, oh, pop, and then went back in. And usually on the first 2 to 3 shots, I can hit someone. So I can only attribute that to me using an LM4. It's made me be obviously much more conservative with my shots, but also a whole lot more accurate. I can shoot on the move accurately since I have been using my LM4 a lot more. So
that's definitely really cool. I'm definitely more of an AEG guy. I'm pretty competitive when I go out there, so I'll have my AEG and run mid caps or high caps too. But I have run Mark's LM4 before and a couple other gas blowbacks, and they are just a lot of fun when you go out there. And even just when you're just shooting in a normal firefight, and that gun's kicking back and forth. And I think the magazine reloads are something that that's a lot of fun because you gotta drop the mag out and either power stroke it or hit the bolt catch or anything like that. And that really just adds to that experience, when you see something like that in the movies or the video game, it's just like loading, that's a big part of the fun of it too. So I wish that was incorporated in more electric guns, and it's nice seeing that it kind of is, and it's getting there with the RM4 and bolts and stuff like that. So hopefully this Lonex gun is, how do you say it, Lonex or?
Honestly, it's potato, Lonex, Lonex. No one says potato. Yeah, it's Lonex. I really don't know the exact perfect explanation. I just remember Tim saying, Bob, it's Lonex. I was like, Tim, you have no idea, so shut up.
Gotcha, for sure. Yeah. But let us know what you guys think. Do you guys prefer gas blowbacks or AEGs? I think the consensus is usually AEGs, but gas blowbacks are a lot of fun too. You know what I wish there were more of, and I know it's hard because it's just physically you don't have enough room, is electric pistols. I know there were a few out there, and there still are, but it's not mainstream compared to the gas blowback pistols that are out there.
I'm giving you the squinty McSquint eyes because I think that's heresy.
Heresy?
Heresy.
Heresy?
Heresy. First of all, we just had an electric blowback pistol or electric pistol come out on our website.
Wait, which one?
The Scorpion.
Yeah, but I'm thinking I'd love to have an electric 1911 because I'm a huge 1911 fan. And just one with just some more BBs in there, so you think I'm crazy.
No, it hurts my soul to hear you say that.
I think it would be fun.
Well, here's the thing: is I have seen electric pistols both in person and as well as in video on the Airsoft battlefield. Sometimes they can be effective. It's just I love gas guns so much so that when I see someone pull out a pistol and then I hear a motor wind up, I'm like, oh my God, what are you doing? Because the thing is, for me, the big advantage is that when you pull the trigger, it's going to be firing right that second. But with an AEG, and even more so with an electric pistol, it's going to take time for that motor to wind up and for that BB to go down range. So I think you're selling yourself short by using an electric pistol, but obviously we have a disagreement.
No, I would prefer to use I was just saying it would be cool to see more of them. That's all I was saying, just to diversify it and make it a little bit different. I don't know, maybe I'm crazy. Okay. Thanks, Bob. Thanks. It's just I'm gonna go sit in the corner over here alone.
Well, here's the thing: is I
hear what you're saying.
You know this, Daniel. I mean, Airsoft is all about everyone being happy for themselves. So if you want electric loading pistol, go for it. I mean, it doesn't matter what I really think. And actually, I'm gonna go on to a different point here. Is that we had a gentleman come out on our live show and ask us hey man, or hey Bob, and I believe Tim was there at the time, but he was saying hey, there's some people who I want to join their team, but they make fun of my Cryptek camo every time I come out. And I told that gentleman, look, if they're making fun of you, they don't need you on your team. You should just go out there and have a good time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Be happy with yourself and just do what makes you happy. So if playing with an AEG makes you happy, go full bore. If playing with the gas blowback makes you happy, then do what I do and love the heck out of it. Play with it every time you can.
Oh, the TM MP7. That's something that I always dreamed of having. A TM MP7, that electric would be great. And I know they just made a gas one too, and the electric one they used to make in the past. But I've always wanted one of those because I think that would be cool. Or Polarstar MP7. I've seen people make those.
People were actually asking for us to talk. Well, one gentleman was continually asking us to talk about Polarstar. And that actually brings it into a good discussion point here, is that Polarstar has a Project X going on. Have you seen the video for that?
Yes.
Okay. No, it's very interesting because there are other companies coming onto the market that are trying to compete with Polarstar, I believe Wolverine Airsoft. But this Project X is interesting in that it is going to add a small amount of feedback to a Polarstar. Now that they've told me, at least when we're on the East Coast, that it would add the same amount of feedback as if you're using, an AEG that had electric blowback. So that's good that they are adding feedback. Hopefully it won't cut down too much on the gas consumption.
Yeah.
But what do you think about Project X?
I think that would be really cool. I haven't used a Polar Star in battle before, but the fact that okay, so my thing is like with an LM4, they work really, really well, but with the gas and the fluctuation of the temperature, you do lose some consistency if it's too hot, or if it's too cold, or just firing full auto, the mag's going to cool down. What I like about HPA is that it's consistent through the stabilizer and the regulator. So theoretically, in my mind, if you had, let's say, a Polar Star or an HPA setup that did have a blowback or had some kind of feedback between it, I like it because you would have consistent shots because the pressure is always going to be the same, but then you still have that realism of, or I would say the more realistic feel of the gun kicking and jumping in your hand. So I think that would be really cool. I would be completely willing to run a tank on my back if I had a gun that can shoot consistently, as consistent as an AEG, but also give me good feedback every time I fire. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
Let's see. Can I get a Polar Star gun with a low budget, or do you guys offer parts to make a Polar Star? That's from Sean Brader. Well, just to answer the first part of that question of can I get a Polar Star with a low budget, probably not, because the Polar Star Fusion engine by itself is around $500.
Yeah.
Yeah. So around $500. So that's just for the engine. Now, we have seen some people that will take a Lancer Tactical, which is a very lightweight frame, incredibly lightweight frame, I would say, and put a Polar Star engine in it. Now, that's probably the most low-cost way to do it, but that's still going to run you around $600, not even counting the HPA air tank, the line, as well as other subsidiary parts you're going to need with a Polar Star. So I would not say a Polar Star build is very affordable, but it is very effective. Even though I prefer guns other than Polar Stars, I do not doubt the effectiveness of Polar Stars after seeing two guys with Polar Stars walk through 60 of my Rebels at Tim vs. Bob 4.
Gotcha. This is from, I'm going to butcher, what is that name?
Gianni D'Alessandro.
What is the best secondary for field use?
For field. Yeah, I think he just, for field use.
What's the best secondary? I'm a huge 1911 guy, so I love the KWA Mark series, but I'm also a fan of the ATPs from KWA, the semi or the full auto version as well. Those things just work great overall.
I would suggest, Gianni, that if you are playing field or outdoor play where the FPS limit is 400 or lower, I would highly suggest the Elite Force 1911 TAC. It's a two-tone Elite Force 1911, runs on CO2, which is a big reason why I suggest it, but also for the fact that it shoots just under 400 feet per second, meaning that it is going to be the pistol that you're going to have the most range with as far as right out of the box. It also kicks really hard, which is why I like using it, because the fun factor is really up there. So I highly suggest checking that out. We also have if you don't want the tactical version with the rail on it, that's two-tone. We also have the Elite Force 1911 A1, which is a standard 1911 style CO2 pistol. But yeah, if you want a sidearm for outdoor play, I highly suggest the Elite Force 1911 A1 or Elite Force 1911 TAC. All right, let's see if we got any more questions.
What are your answers on AEG or GBB? I think we answered that.
Well, let me try and recap it for him. Who is that?
From 5 Cent Productions.
5 Cent Productions. We don't really have an answer to AEG versus or gas versus AEG. Basically, we have two sides of the coin here. We have Daniel, who prefers to play mostly with AEGs. I have myself, who I prefer mostly to play with gas blowback rifles or gas blowback anything. And what it really comes down to is personal play style. Do you like having that extra firepower? Do you like being competitive? Do you like doing a lot of internal work on your AEG to make it more personal or more about you? Or do you like something that fires similarly to a real firearm, that is manipulated similarly to a real firearm, as well as having the blowback function feedback similar to a real firearm? Also for the fact that I play with them, obviously, to improve and challenge my gameplay. So.
Yeah, I think that summed it up very well.
Mm-hmm.
Bryce is asking, what is a low-budget pistol?
It's pistol.
Pistol? I think it's supposed to be an O, 7A.
Yep.
But pistol. I would recommend there is an HK USP by Umarex that is CO2 powered that is $45.
Wow.
And that's probably, I would say, one of the better quality, really low budget CO2 guns out there.
It's non-blowback, right?
It's non-blowback, and it shoots about 330, 340 FPS, so it's still competitive, but also safe for fields, because I've seen other CO2 pistols at that price range that, like, it will just shoot crazy hot. It'd shoot like 500 FPS or so. So if you're looking for a really low budget pistol, that is a pretty decent one to go with. If not, the next step up, if you can spend, I'd say another $50. The KJW M9s are one of my favorite to recommend. That will not break the bank, but is a good pistol.
As far as like affordability goes, I actually recently did a review of the Beretta M84, quote unquote, Cheetah. Pistol. It's around $75. I actually didn't know about that USP for $45, but it's a $75 pistol. It's the smaller version of the Beretta in the Beretta family, or smaller version of the M9. So it does work out. Does work as a very good holdout pistol, i.e. a pistol you can conceal on yourself. But it does have blowback. So right out of the box, it does have blowback as opposed to a non-blowback pistol, and it comes in at $75, which is affordable considering gas blowback pistols. Now, I do not believe it has a hop-up setup, so your range beyond about 40 feet is going to be a little rough. But I was actually able to accurately hit stuff at 40 feet, which was surprising. But it's a really affordable pistol, has really good blowback since it is CO2. And once again, $75. So I'd highly suggest checking out the Beretta M84, and I believe it's made by Elite Force or Umarex. So.
Tom's asking, KWA pistols versus Wii pistols. Should I take that one or should I?
Oh my God. I mean, it's going to be a really easy answer for me. Like, if you want your gun to function consistently and well on the battlefield, you're going to have to go with the KWA.
Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah. Actually, let's go down a bit.
Sure.
All right, Basil B, are you going to Operation So-and-so? We will not actually be going to Operation So-and-so because that's put on by someone else. But if you are going to Operation So-and-so, I would highly suggest that since it is on the East Coast, our East Coast walk-in store actually ships out of there now. And if you order from GITactical.com, you are going to be able to get your order at your doorstep in, I believe, 1 to 3 days. Mm-hmm. So let's say you're going to Operation So-and-so that's in the New York area. You're going to want to order from there because if there's something you forgot and you order from the West Coast, it's not going to get there in time. So if you order from GITactical.com, you're going to have that easy, quick shipping, and you're going to be able to get that gear for your weekend operation. So make sure to take advantage of GITactical.com being on the East Coast and having much shorter shipping times. Also, our staff there is, what's that called?
Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, that's exactly it for sure. See how much time we have left. We have about 4 minutes left, so we can try to get into a few more questions. I don't know how to say that one either. Nakmir? I don't know.
Nakmir
is asking the Marusian 5.7 or the Marui 5.7. I've only actually seen the Marusian 5.7. I don't know if you've seen the Marui 5.7.
I have.
What do you think between the two?
Just because of the quality of the build, and because I've had some bad experiences with Marusian in the past, I would, and that was a long time ago, I would probably go with the Marui 5.7 just because I believe in their build quality, and I've also seen that gun function on the battlefield and also kick my ass in person. So I would say the Marui 5.7, I would go with that instead.
For sure.
Yeah.
Let me refresh this for you guys. Will you guys ever do a bullpup mystery box like use the AEG, Tavor, PDR, and the F2000?
Most interesting.
That is a very interesting thought, like a bullpup specific mystery box, or maybe bullpup heavy. There's a lot of bullpup guns in there. I'm definitely a fan of the bullpup style guns. If you guys are not familiar with that, what that means is this is a more traditional setup where you have your fire control group and the trigger, everything, and the magazine and the barrel starts here. Bullpup is like an AEG is a very common one where you have the fire control group and the pistol grip and the trigger up front, and the magazine in the back, and barrel starts way in the back, and that allows to have a much longer barrel, giving you range and accuracy, but will physically cut down the size of the gun, because instead of using 50% of the gun for barrel, you're using, I don't know, like 70 or 80% or something like that. That's a ballpark number. So yeah, they definitely look more futuristic. Like I love the assault rifle, the classic assault rifle from Halo. That's a bullpup style gun that looks really cool too. Definitely more futuristic, but it's pretty cool.
I wanted to do a quick shout out to Hardcore Airsoft. Shout out approved. Also want to say hi to GamePod, who I just noticed made it into the Game Pod, who made it into the Airsoft GI Live show just in time to reach the last minute. All right.
Awesome, for sure. And then I guess one last question from Zachary. He's asking, what is better, the LM4, the KWA LM4 GBB, or the Chris Vector?
That's a tough decision, one which I had to make quite a while ago, of whether or not to get an LM4 or get a Chris Vector. What I came down to is, as cool and as much of a novelty as the Chris Vector is, you're not going to find something more ubiquitous than an M4 style gun on the Airsoft battlefield. And also, I mean, to be honest, I have a lot of faith in KWA and how they make their gas guns, so I figured it was going to perform, you know, similarly if I got either the Vector or the LM4. But the LM4, I figured I could do more with custom-wise in the long run than I could a Chris Vector. Also, you know, LM4 parts and magazines are going to be much easier to come by than the Vector as well, because it's, you know, sometimes the market is saturated with Vector mags, and usually those just disappear like that. So for the long run, I think the LM4 is going to be a much better purchase for you. But you know, if you want that novelty, the 2-shot burst, the Vector is a great gun. But another thing to mention is that Vector magazine pouches are kind of hard to come by and look a little weird.
Yeah, I know Brian has one. One of my buddies that I play Airsoft with, and he uses P90 pouches.
Yes.
And that works really well, but he had to get like a whole new setup just to make that work right.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I used this Chris Vector before. That thing shot so far. It was
Yeah. 2-shot burst is pretty dope.
Yeah. Definitely really cool. But I think that's going to wrap it up for our live show today on April 29th, I believe. Hope you guys enjoyed it. What was that?
Andrew CA, kind of rude. You've got to understand that we get a lot of questions here. We obviously can't answer everyone's. And you really shouldn't get that upset if we can't get to yours, because obviously we get a lot of questions here, and that's pretty rude. So
yeah, really.
If
you guys have more questions, I've said it multiple times, hit me up on my Airsoft GI Space Dan Facebook page. I'm more than happy to interact with you guys and answer a lot of the questions. I know a lot of you guys here can vouch for me, and please back me up here that I will sit on Facebook with you and I'll research a question, or I'll give you guys feedback, or I'll give you guys a link, because I know that helps you guys out. So please be understanding, guys. We can't answer all your questions. We could if we would, because we love you guys. But that's going to wrap it up for our live show today on Tuesday, April 29th. We hope you guys liked it, and we will see you guys next week.
Bye. Bye-bye.
And now the awkward waving until the stream ends.